Hey y'all, if you're planning to turn a shed into a home, I need you to stop for a second and think about something that most folks overlook until it's too late, the foundation. Today I'm going to break down the different types of shed foundations you can choose from, share what I did wrong on our first conversion, and walk you through the new plan that I've got for my daughter's build that's going to go right here. That way you can avoid the headaches that we ran into. Trust me, what's underneath your shed matters more than you think. Let's talk about the main foundation options for turning a shed into a tiny home. You got concrete blocks, which is what most sheds use for delivery. They'll drop your shed on stacked center blocks spaced along the frame. It's cheap, it's quick, but y'all, it ain't always permanent. I used this on our shed to home and it worked until it didn't. The blocks settled unevenly over time. Some shifted, doors stopped closing right, and we had to come back and we're still having to fix it and shim it and level it and try to add more piers. The second type of foundation you can build is concrete footers with block piers. This is more of a traditional mobile home type setup. You dig your holes, you pour your footers, you build block piers to support the structure. It's stable and it's legal in a lot of places, and it's a solid option if you've got the tools or a contractor or somebody knows what they're doing. But it's a lot more work up front. Then you have skid foundation. This is where the shed sits on its treated skids or beams right on the gravel. Some folks just level the gravel and they set it down. I've seen this work okay in dry areas, but around here I'd be afraid that wood would rot out pretty quickly. The fourth thing I can think of is a gravel pad, and that's with pressure treated beams. And you'll hear this called a floating foundation. It's better than bare skids because you control the drainage and you get it elevated a little bit off the ground, but it's still not as stable as post or piers. Another option you can do is a slab foundation, and that's where you actually pour a concrete slab, the width and length of the size of your building, and you set it down on a 4 or 6 inch slab. But then your concerns may be you have no crawl space underneath, so it's going to be really hard to get in there and add your plumbing or to insulate the floor or do anything you might want to do as far as working on it and finishing it out as a home under the crawl space. Not to mention it's very expensive. Concrete has went way up in price. And then if you don't know how to finish concrete yourself, and that's a pretty big job if you're talking about a slab big enough to put a shed to home conversion on, then you need to hire someone. And that's even more money, a lot of times double the price of the concrete or more. So it can be pretty expensive. I mean, you're talking probably somewhere in the range of $4,000 to $10,000 for this slab to be poured and finished for you. And then lastly, you have a post and beam foundation, and that's what I'm planning on doing. This is where you dig your post holes. You set, we're gonna set treated 6x6 down in the ground, and then we're gonna put 6x6 beams across them level so that the shed can sit on those beams. It's permanent, it's solid, and it gives a nice crawl space underneath to be able to get under there and run your plumbing. You can tie it down to the ground, and it's easy to do repairs later. There's a little bit more work up front, but it's gonna help you out a lot in the long run. So here's the honest truth. When I built our original shed, I didn't think too much about the foundation. The shed was delivered, they set it up on blocks, and I thought, well, that's good enough. But over time, the ground underneath it has shifted somewhat. The blocks have sank, and we also didn't put enough piers in the beginning. So when we tried to anchor it down, we obviously realized that there's no good way to tie anything to it. The blocks aren't as stable as I'd like. Also, you gotta remember this is a home, guys. You're finishing out this shed. It was meant to be a shed, it was built that way, and if you just stuck it on its skids on top of concrete blocks, that'd be fine and dandy if you're just storing lawnmowers or a little bit of tools in there. But when you start adding your wall covering, your insulation, your flooring, your electrical, your plumbing, your appliances, your cabinetry, and then you start putting people in there and beds and furniture and dressers and chest of drawers and all these heavy things, and your toilet and your tub and your shower, when you start adding all those things together, it creates a lot of weight, right? And then you need a better foundation. So if it depends on what you're planning on doing with your shed. If you're gonna make a home out of it, I would suggest putting a lot of thought into the foundation before you set it in place. It's gonna save you a lot of headache down the road. With my daughter and grandson living in the shed that I bought, I want something safer and smarter, so we're doing the post and beam. And here's why. Like I said before, it lifts the shed up, and it's away from any rainwater runoff. I can run plumbing, wiring, and even insulate under the floor if I need. And then more importantly, I get to anchor it. I'll use hurricane straps and ties to connect the shed itself to the beams that it's sitting on. And then the beams, of course, are planted down in the ground. So it's going to make it much more stable, and it's going to make me feel better when the high winds come along, because we do live in an area that's prone to tornadoes and pretty bad storms. Now, not everybody needs a post and beam, so let me give you a few questions to ask yourself. Is this a temporary setup, or is it long-term home? Does your area flood or hold water? Do you plan to plumb and wire underneath it? Can you legally install a permanent foundation where you live? Do you have the help and tools to build it right? If it's just a shed for storage, gravel or blocks might be fine. But if someone's going to live in it, y'all treat it like a house. A good foundation is like a good budget. It's not very fancy, but it keeps everything from falling apart. This time, I'm gonna try to do it right, and I'll bring y'all along every step of the way. We'll dig the posts together, we'll place the beams, we'll get the shed leveled and tied down, and from there, we build the inside. I'll tell you what, let's take a walk up to the house, and I'll kind of give you an idea of the problems that we've faced in doing it the way that we did. Well, y'all see my asparagus bed? Man, things getting out of hand. I have a lot of asparagus to eat next year. But anyway, I wanted to show you kind of the problems that we're dealing with going with the cinder block piers underneath the shed and not putting a little more thought and effort into it. I'm going to spin you around here. Now we just have this plastic sheeting up. Instead of actual underpinning, it's just stapled here. I just pulled it down so I could show you guys. But I haven't underpinned the bottom of our house yet because we still got some work we need to do. This is a really good chert pad. It's good and solid, and it hasn't done a lot of settling, and that's one good thing. But it's done a little bit of settling. So if you'll come over, do you see how that pier? It's not really good and secure there. I've worked on these some, but when they originally put these in here, look at the spider webs. If you'll notice, I just put this one in not too long ago. This one here in the middle, this double. Mostly they're going to do something along these lines here. Your shed movers are. They're going to put a single pier like this of blocks. But if you'll look around, they really just did not put enough of them. Now that's where I tried to fix and add some. I really need to do a way better job. But I don't know if you can tell how many are missing. I mean, all that expanse there, that should have at least one or two more piers. So, and these are the 4x6 notched skids that these sheds are built on. And as you can see, oh, this is my grandson in there playing. So, anyway, needless to say, they've look at that one's leaning sideways there. I need to fix it. At least it's touching. But I need to get under here. I need to get under there and I need to level them. I need to level them and add piers. And then I can come back and put proper underpinning. So, learn from my mistakes, guys. And I would not go with just the blocks. I mean, you can do it right and you can live with it. But I think you're better off doing a post and beam or at least going and digging a concrete footer anywhere that you know you're going to have a pier. You could dig you a little concrete footer, 2 by 2 foot, pour you about a foot of concrete, 18 inches of concrete down, depending on where you live and how deep you need to go. And then that way you'll have something good and level and solid to set your blocks on. It takes a little bit of planning ahead of time and preparing, but I really think it's a better option. So that's my mistake. That's the ugliness of it, and I'm not afraid to show that I make mistakes. Obviously, we all do, and it's good to learn from each other and figure out the things that don't work and the things that do work and share them. And that's what my porch community is about. We're come on over to askpawpaw.com/porch and join our community, and we talk about stuff like this, the things that we've done that work and the things that we've done that don't work. And we hopefully learn from each other, and it just makes us stronger as a community. If you're in this same process, I put together a free starter kit to help you avoid the rookie mistakes that I made. You can get it at askpawpaw.com/starter kit. And if you want to go even deeper with me and other folks that are doing the same thing, come hang out with us in the porch community. That's where I share behind the scenes bonus stuff, resources, and we sit around and answer real questions to each other about what we would do. So go to askpawpaw.com/porch and join us there. Hey, thanks for watching, and let's go build something. See you guys.